Hi guys, it's Kirsty. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the question that we might be asking ourselves when we're suffering with OCD. Why me? Why did I have to have OCD? But before I go into that, I'd like to ask, please do subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below in order to stay up to date with new videos as they're released. So, firstly, I hope you like the slightly different backgrounds. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit in this video. I got a bit jealous of Nick's videos with his changing backgrounds and outfits, so I thought I ought to up my game. But this is it's another cream wall, so perhaps it's not quite a big enough change. But anyway, so back to the topic. So why me? Why did I have to have OCD? So this could be something, well, I'm sure this is something most of us have asked ourselves at certain points, because when we're suffering with OCD and it's at its worst, obviously you sometimes wish that you could have a different life, or you wish that you could just look at, you look at other people and you might wish that you could just be more like them, bearing in mind we don't actually always know what's going on in other people's lives. But we're suffering, and sometimes it's easy to ask yourself when you're suffering, why do I have to be going through this when I look at other people and not everybody seems to have to go through the same things as me. But the problem is when we start delving too much into kind of going into this, why me, going into that kind of, it's almost like taking on a new attitude, which, and it's an attitude or kind of perspective that can actually be a little bit unhelpful for us. In fact, very unhelpful for us in our recovery journey from any mental health disorder, because essentially it's a little bit like feeling sorry for yourself. And there is a difference between giving yourself compassion and feeling sorry for yourself. Giving yourself compassion is acknowledging your suffering and speaking to yourself kindly and giving yourself, the benefit of the doubt with certain things, so that you're not beating yourself up extra and kind of preventing yourself from moving forward to work on improving your situation. Whereas if you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're kind of you're kind of taking away power from yourself, almost saying, this is it now, I can't do anything, why me, I'm at the mercy of the universe and things, and the fact of it is, there are a lot of things in life that we can't control, and we are essentially at the mercy of the universe in some ways. But when it comes to mental health recovery, it is possible to recover. We see other people recovering. We hear other people's recovery stories. This account, this company, OCD Recovery, wouldn't exist if somebody hadn't recovered from OCD, and, various other people who work with people with OCD or other mental health difficulties may have experienced it and then recovered. There are proven ways that people can improve their mental health. So we do have some power here. We can do the work that's needed in order to get ourselves feeling a bit better, to get closer to where we want to be, to actually recover. But it takes work, and that work has to come from us and only us. And when we're kind of going over the whole idea of why me, why me, poor me, it takes us away from, takes the focus away from what needs to be done, and kind of keeps us sort of feeling sorry for ourselves and feeling down about the fact that we're anxious. And then we're layering, of course, unpleasant emotions on top of already unpleasant emotions, with what we're experiencing with our OCD or anxiety. So the way to look at it here, to kind of try and move away from this why me kind of question, and what I would say here is, if you have found yourself dwelling on this, do not be beating yourself up over it, because I think we've probably all been there at some point. This kind of question and this kind of way of thinking, kept me stuck and feeling low for a while, because I truly thought, I don't deserve this. Why me? Why does it have to be me? But this is incredibly irrational and so unhelpful. And the reason why it's irrational is because of the simple question, why not you? Why are babies born disabled, or why are babies born with incurable illnesses that are going to limit their life expectancy or limit their quality of life? Why why do children have cancer? What, like, the universe doesn't care what is fair and what is not fair. The universe doesn't care about, deservingness or anything like that. It's science. Things happen, in our bodies that that are bad for us, that we don't want to happen. Cells change and various things, sorry, I won't go into, I don't know, and, I'm obviously not a doctor or know anything about medical things, but, things go wrong in our bodies and they can go wrong in anybody's body. And we can, say, oh, it's not fair. We don't deserve it, or they don't deserve it, or whatever. But the problem is that, like, life doesn't work like that. The universe doesn't care who deserves and who doesn't, or what's fair and what isn't, or anything like that. Fairness and deservingness are kind of concepts that people have made up, and it's spoken about as we grow up. So we grow up believing, oh no, but this shouldn't happen, this must not happen because it's not fair and I don't deserve it, or that person doesn't deserve it. And we get ourselves so upset about it and everything, when actually if we can loosen our grip on the idea of fairness and deservingness, and why did this have to happen? Of course, it's crap that bad stuff happens. It's crap that people get ill. It's crap that we have OCD. But if we can kind of reduce our feelings about having OCD to, maybe it sometimes can make you feel a bit sad at some of the, things you might have missed out on because of it, or, frustrated. I mean, let's face it, it's so bloody frustrating. What if we can bring our feelings about it to those kind of emotions, those negative emotions that don't cause us to kind of, act in ways that are not within our best interest. And when I say that, I mean, frustration and, feeling a bit, sorrow, as opposed to feeling completely down and out and depressed or furious and raging. And because when we're feeling like, if we kind of get ourselves completely feeling depressed about the fact that we have OCD, then we're going to maybe be sort of moving ourselves further away from addressing the fear cycle and anxiety, because we've got another problem now of the fact that we're feeling really low in energy and really down dumps and bad about ourselves and bad about the world, and it's not fair, and we're feeling depressed. Or we might be, furious and raging and resorting to other kind of maybe self-destructive habits like addiction or something on top of the compulsions that we're already doing. So then we've got that other issue. Whereas if we can loosen our grip on the idea of fairness and deservingness, and like I say, bring down sort of these extreme emotions such as rage and depression that, like I say, that can lead us to maybe behaving in ways that aren't so helpful to us. Bring it down to, we're not going to ever remove emotion. Humans have unpleasant emotions as much as they have pleasant emotions. That is part of being alive. But some emotions are slow down the thinking process, and you're able to sit with that emotion whilst looking at how you can work on the situation. And in this situation, I'm talking about working on our OCD recovery or anxiety recovery, whatever it is you might be struggling with. So this is why it's not that helpful to labour on the idea of or question of why me, because the simple answer is why not you? Because why not you? Like, why out of all the million people in the world, why not you? There's a certain proportion of people in this world that have OCD. Why are you so, and please don't take this the wrong way, but why is any of us so special that we shouldn't have it? Why is any of us so special that we should be exempt from any risk of any kind of illness, whether that's mental or physical illness? Why should we be above, prioritized above any other human being? And as I said, sometimes, it can be helpful to look at, when you like to look at the irrationality of it. As I say, when you're doing this, by the way, you don't be beating yourself up and tearing yourself up saying, oh, yeah, no, I shouldn't be complaining about this. God, when other people. But it is useful to look at, like I say, children who are born with uncurable illnesses and things, why them as well? Why them? But there's no reason. So why? It's useful to apply that to yourself as well. And as I say, once you can start loosening your hold over that, then you're working on acceptance of OCD itself, which is such an important perspective shift in OCD recovery. Acceptance of OCD itself is one thing. And then you can start working on further acceptance of the symptoms that come with OCD, you know, the unpleasant, uncomfortable, unhelpful things that come along with it. And once we're able to accept that, then we're able to then better focus on doing what we need to do for our recovery. So, you know, whatever kind of therapy that you might be kind of doing to, obviously, the gold standard is exposure with response prevention, and then whatever cognitive work you might be doing to work on your OCD. You're better able to be more focused on your recovery rather than being stuck with these extra unpleasant emotions because you're holding on so strongly to that question, why me, that actually can't be answered. So I hope this video has been helpful with regards to how to approach it if you're finding yourself kind of going over that question and it's causing you to feel, you know, depressed in addition to struggling with the anxiety that OCD throws out, or maybe it's even making you feel really raging and it's not fair and, you know, all of this. I hope this has been helpful, and there are lots of videos on this channel about, obviously, unconditional acceptance, unconditional life acceptance, which is very useful for, you know, moving forward from the question, why me? And, you know, various videos about kind of perspective shifts as well, because that's a huge part of OCD recovery. So thank you ever so much for watching, and do take care. Bye.